Well, the Mexican wave isn't just about bored people throwing their hands up at the cricket. This ritual, it's a symbol of Australian sport. It's one of the main memories people take home from the cricket. It's something that little kids love to talk about. Sport is such a huge part of Australia. It's the only thing that really crosses all boundaries and cultures, and almost, it's sort of the thing that kind of unites us. It's the thing that we can talk about together. There's been a lot of talk about identity and who are we as Australians and what are our rights, what are our responsibilities, what kind of people do we take to be Australians, what kind of values do you need to be an Australian, stuff like that. They're all really crucial issues. Well, about 4 hours after I heard of the ban, I registered SaveMexicanWave.com, and within 2 hours that was ready to go. I think the media were pretty surprised by how quickly the response came out, and Cricket Australia as well.
He's a type of person who would actually just get on board and actually do something about it, and that was the reason he did it rather than the person next door or whatever, because he's a very proactive person, I guess you could say, and when he sees something that needs to be done, he'll go out and do it.
I'll do a couple of things. I make announcements for V-Line, and I've also recently started a business selling custom tailored shirts. I was just walking down the street and I was looking around at everything, and then I just had the realisation that everything around me was the result of a thought that was in someone's head. Like everything around you, someone thought of, like it was created. And so I figured that if so many people have gone before me and just put mundane objects or done stuff and got in the news, why can't I do that too?
He's showing out his, a bit of his businesses and stuff. He has lots of ideas, and he's chasing a few of them down because he reckons they'll go somewhere. Yeah, he's definitely been the one to do crazy things and not follow the normal path. So yeah.
The stated reason by Cricket Australia that it was banned was because people were throwing objects up and people were getting hurt. Like there was the meat pie thrown up, there was a cup of urine thrown up by one person.
I think Cricket Australia had a social and an ethical responsibility to make sure that people who go to the cricket have an enjoyable and a safe experience there. So I really don't think that Cricket Australia had much choice but to try and ban the Mexican wave.
There's a kid with an inflatable kangaroo, like a 6-year-old kid or something, and it was popped. Like the police came up and popped it. Right, and I said, why do they do this? And I think we've got to stop nannying. That was a word that was used by the Sunday Age. Stop nannying people, stop creating little rules, stop over-regulating people, basically.
I totally disagree. I think people that go to the cricket should be able to go, take their families and take them in a safe environment. I mean, the cricket is not about larrikinism. It's not about going to the cricket and coming back with a beer bottle lodged in your head. So I think that steps need to be taken to make sure that everyone that goes to the cricket has fun, but goes in a safe and is in a safe environment.
They can't make us wear nappies and strap us in for the game. They've got to take a bit of, they've got to accept that there's going to be slight levels of risk with having fun, and that one's just ridiculous.
Maybe some of the antics he pulled off while he was out the cricket ground and in front of the cameras was a bit new.
And I got dressed up like an idiot and it's in the MX with it painted on my chest, which was an idea I had just before the photo. And then like a Channel 9 camera crew was walking past, and I just walked up to them out of the blue and said, hey, do you guys want a story? And then that got on Channel 9 News, right? And that created a bit of interest for the media, which steamrolled into Sunday when the actual game was.
Melbourne's sporting faithful have faced unprecedented security, with thousands turning out for both the A-League soccer semi-final and the Cricket International between Australia and New Zealand.
The police will use 300 closed-circuit cameras to monitor crowd behaviour and identify troublemakers.
Authorities are very tired of the complaints from people who are coming to enjoy a good game and can't.
If they engage in the wave, it's the end of the night for them and they'll be going home.
The first person that gets fined, I will pay their fine, so yeah, we'll see what happens.
If you misbehave, you act to the annoyance of any of the other spectators, you'd be evicted.
Luke Waters, 10
Let people create an atmosphere. People turn up to sport not just for what happens on the field, because, but also because of the atmosphere and almost the communal aspect of it as well. And then I walked down the stairs, just walked down the row, stood on the seat, ripped my shirt off and said, "The MCG belongs to the people, not Cricket Australia." And then I started the Mexican wave.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7 News with Jennifer Kite.
Good evening. Outraged spectators have been evicted from the MCG after authorities followed through on threats to ban the Mexican
unprecedented wave. Security, with thousands turning out for both the A-League soccer semi-final.
1,500 supporters who claim the ban is unnecessary and un-Australian.
The police has 1,500 online supporters, and one more telling that to the spectators.
Communism, innit?
Mexican wave, voting with the old soon fell foul of the law.
Cricket talk was shelved. Supporters pondering another question: to wave or not to wave.
Protest Matthew Newton. After setting up his own website to save the wave, the 22-year-old soon fell foul of the law as he tried to encourage fans to defy the ban. Police moving quickly to evict him from the ground.
Huge Mexican waves going around, and that shows exactly what the people think.
His website already has 1,500 supporters who claim...
I got a bunch of emails from idiots saying you're a wanker or you're a dickhead and stuff like that. Found comments about me on the internet, but it was just part and parcel of what was going to happen. I think overall I got an extremely favourable run. One guy especially had a pretty big dig at me, and I was a bit like, hey, lay off. Right? He really was getting extremely tense and riled up with me because he didn't like the Mexican wave very much.
I'd say I'd take a similar stance to him. I signed the petition myself. It's a Mexican wave. It's an icon. You know, you can't just get rid of someone like that just because there's a couple of guys who doing the wrong thing. I mean, we don't do that for the rest of society.
I think that the Mexican wave is probably endangered at the MCG as long as people act irresponsibly and are throwing missiles, where there's the danger that people could be injured seriously.
Well, the media's probably moved on. I might get 1 or 2 calls, but overall, what I do envisage is that this is probably a negative point of view, but I think Cricket Australia will probably be successful in enforcing the ban if they keep it up. It's sad, but it's probably true.